Jesus, again in reply, spoke to the chief priests and elders of the people in parables, saying, "The kingdom of heaven may be likened to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son. He dispatched his servant to summon the invited guests to the feast, but they refused to come. A second time he sent other servants, saying, 'Tell those invited, behold, I have prepared my banquet. My cows and fattened cattle are killed, and everything is ready. Come to the feast.' Some ignored the invitation and went away, one to his farm, another to his business. The rest laid hold of his servant, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged and sent his troops, destroyed those murderers, and burned their city. Then he said to his servant, 'The feast is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy to come. Go out, therefore, into the main roads and invite to the feast whomever you find.' The servant went out into the street and gathered all they found, bad and good alike, and the hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to meet the guest, he saw a man there not dressed in a wedding garment. The king said to him, 'My friend, how was it that you come in here without a wedding garment?' But he was reduced to silence. Then the king said to his attendants, 'Bind his hands and feet and cast him into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. Many are invited, but few are chosen.'" The Gospel of the Lord. My dear brothers and sisters, the image of a banquet comes out very strongly in the readings that we have heard today. In the first reading, we are told that on this mountain, the Lord of hosts will make a banquet for all his peoples, a banquet with the best of food, and then he would give them the choicest wine, and that they would be able to eat to their full. And there he tells us that the Lord would wipe away the tears of all, and then he would banish death forever, and there would be happiness unending. So that was the image that was given to the people of God, that on the holy mountain, the Lord would set a feast for them. So that imagery of coming together as God's people, gathering around the best of food, and gathering in the happiness and in the company of the people that love us, gathering in the company and in the presence of God, who, out of goodness and out of his mercy, has set before us the best that we could ever dream of. that image was always considered as the beatific vision, in which the people of God would gather around him, and all of us will be given the best of everything that we have ever dreamt of. In the second reading, St. Paul will still talk about nourishment. And in talking about nourishment, he tells the Christian community of the Philippines that I know how to be abased, and I know how to be in abundance. In any and in all circumstances, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and want. And I can do all things in him who strengthens me. So St. Paul has captured everything in the strength and in the power and in the mercy of God, who propels and who sustains the ministry of his apostle. So in God, I have what is sufficient. That's what St. Paul is saying. I know how to live in plenty, and I know how to live in want. I swing between the two ends. But then in all those situations, I am content, because God gives me the grace to be happy with that which is sufficient. Therefore, in God, I have that which is sufficient, and I'm not in need, and I don't have in excess, because the Lord has provided exactly that which I need. Jesus Christ will pick up the same theme, and then today will tell us that a king decided to throw a banquet for his son. And then the invited guest refused to come. My dear friends, think of all the descriptions that are given to us in terms of the quality of the food, the details of the preparation, and then the details of the hospitality that is going to be offered. Yet, people found a reason to refuse. And then a second time, he dispatched his disciples to go out and to invite whomever they found on the street. So this time around, they were able to fill the banquet hall with many guests. And then the master of the ceremony would come, and then somebody who came in unprepared would be thrown out. But today, I like to focus on the banquet. I like to focus on God who provides that banquet. I like to focus on us as the invited guests. And I like to focus on us as the ones who have to give a response to that invitation that has been extended to us. And I'm thinking of it in terms of this banquet being the ultimate dream and the ultimate desire of each and every one of us. The banquet is not just food. The banquet is not just wine. The banquet also represents all provision that human beings would need. And so we are thinking of everything for which we would set out to go and work, everything for which we would set out to expend our energy, everything for which we would rather not sleep and then spend sleepless nights wishing, desiring, and yearning for those qualities and items and then the details in our lives. So that for which we work, that for which we sweat, that for which we dream, that for which we spend countless and endless hours of our energy and resources, that represent for us the banquet. But the irony of the situation is that that is exactly what is provided in this banquet. And people find reasons to avoid, to escape, and to stay away. And I ask myself, why? Don't we want those resources? Don't we want that happiness again? Don't we want that nourishment again? Don't we want that fulfillment again? What is it that makes us run away from that which we have always desired? But dear friends, Today, the gospel gives us a few clues. It tells us that having thrown the banquet and having extended invitation to the guests, some flatly refused to come. One decided that he was going to his farm. Another decided that he was going to his business. But what is it that he was going to work for in the farm that would not be found on the banquet table of the Lord? What is it that he was going to secure in the business that the Lord has not already provided in the banquet? And yet, people find reasons, excuses to stay away from the invitation of God. Today, I'd like us to make a soul-searching experience, each and every one of us. The Lord calls me to a banquet. The Lord invites me to the best of everything that I have dreamt of. The Lord invites me to come and enjoy the goodies that only He can provide. What is it that makes me stay away from the Lord? Is it sheer ignorance? Is it out of disrespect for the Lord? Is it out of laziness? Or I have other excuses for which I cannot be at table with God? But dear friends, if we ask ourselves how those initially invited guests responded, and if we were given the chance to judge them, I'm sure we will be very harsh with our judgment. Why? Why couldn't they respond to that invitation? Did they not see? Could they not smell? Could they not feel? And could they not anticipate that the Lord of all goodness will provide a banquet like no other? And yet they refused. But my dear friends, today we are the invited guests. Today we are the ones that are refusing the invitation of God. Some of us, the reason is simple. I do not know what is going to happen to me tomorrow. Therefore, let me secure my future. Some of us, the reason is simple. I cannot be assured of the promises of the Lord that I would be accepted in His house, in His palace. And therefore, let me take care of myself. Whatever our reasons are, today I'd like us to understand that the Lord provides that which none of us, with all our efforts, with all our dreams, with all our abilities, would ever be able to provide. And He provides that at no cost, simply because He loves us, He cares about us, and He wants to be at table with us. Could we just open up and trust the Lord? Could we open up and give the Lord a chance to host us? St. Paul tells us, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I know how to live in abundance, and I know how to live in want. Because with the Lord, I have sufficient. It is my prayer that all of us would also find fulfillment in God. That whatever our circumstances would be, we would be content knowing that the Lord is with us. I would rather be at table with the Lord than to go and scout on my own. I would rather be at table with the Lord than to go and scavenge. I would rather be at table with the Lord rather than to go and face the uncertainties. May the good Lord grant us the grace to open up, to accept his invitation, and to trust in his provision. Amen.